can take it out and pop it back in any time you like. You can bet your life Mrs. Twit knew all the tricks. One morning, she took out her glass eye and dropped it into Mr. Twit's mug of beer when he wasn't looking. Mr. Twit sat there drinking the beer slowly. The froth made a white ring on the hairs around his mouth. He wiped the white froth onto his sleeve and wiped the sleeve on his trousers.
You're plotting something,
Mrs. Twit said, keeping her back turned so that he wouldn't see that she had taken out her glass eye.
Whenever you go all quiet like that, I know very well you're plotting something.
Mrs. Twit was right. Mr. Twit was plotting away like mad. He was trying to think up a really nasty trick he could play on his wife that day.
You better be careful, because when I see you starting to plot, I watch you like a wombat. Oh, shut up, you old head.
He went on drinking his beer, and his evil mind kept working away on a later horrid trick he was going to play on the old woman. Suddenly, as Mr. Twit took the last drop of beer down his throat, he caught sight of Mrs. Twit's awful glass eyes staring up at him from the bottom of the mug. It made him jump.
I told you I was watching you. I've got eyes everywhere, so you better be careful. Oh, you horrid old head!
To pay you back for the glass on his beer, Mr. Twit decided he would put a frog in Mrs. Twit's bed. He caught a big one down by the pond and carried it back secretly in the box. That night, when Mrs. Twit is in the bathroom getting ready for bed, Mr. Twit slipped the frog between his sheets. Then he got into his own bed and waited for the fun to begin. Mrs. Twit came back and climbed into her bed and put out the light. She lay there in the dark, scratching her tummy. Her tummy was itching. Dirty old hands like her always have itchy tummies. Then all at once she felt something cold and slimy crawling over her feet. She said,
Help! There's something in my bed! What's the matter with you? There's something in my bed! I'll bet it's that giant scallywag I saw on the floor just now. That what? I tried to kill it, but it got away. It's got teeth like screwdrivers. Help! Save me! It's all over my feet! It'll bite off your toes!
Mrs. Twit fainted. Mr. Twit got out of bed and fetched a jug of cold water. He poured the water over Mrs. Twit's head to relieve her. The frog caught up from under the sheets to get near the water. He started jumping about the pillow. Frogs love water. This one is having a good time when Mrs. Twit came to. The frog had just jumped onto her face. This is not a nice thing to happen to anyone in bed at night.
By God, it's the giant scallywag that will bite off your nose!
Mrs. Twit leaped down bed and flew downstairs and spent the night on the sofa. The frog went to sleep on her pillow.
To get her revenge for the frog trick, Mrs. Twit had dug up some wriggly garden worms and put them into Mr. Twit's lunchtime spaghetti. Oh yes, she was going to enjoy this lunch.
Hurry up, where's my spaghetti bag? It's coming, dear. Hey, my spaghetti's moving. It's a new kind, dear. It's called squiggly spaghetti. Go on, eat it up, it's nice and
giving Mrs. Twits such an enormous pleasure watching her horrible husband eat worms. She felt she might burst on the spot.
So do you want to know why your spaghetti was squishy? Why? Because there's worms in the horrible old bowl. Oh, you head! You horrid old head!
On one Tuesday evening, after Mr. Twit had been up the ladder and smeared the tree with hogtight, 4 little boys crept into the garden to look at the monkeys. They didn't care about the thistles and stinging needles. Knowing there were monkeys to look at. After a while, they got tired of looking at the monkeys, so they explored further into the garden and found the ladder leaning against a big dead tree. They decided to climb up it just for fun. There's nothing wrong with that. The next morning, when Mr. Twit went out to collect the birds, he found 5 miserable little boys sitting in the tree, stuck as tight as could be by the seats of their hands to the branches. Mr. There's no birds because of the sense of the boys had scared them away. Mr. Twit was furious.
As there are no birds for my pie tonight, then it'll have to be boys instead.
He started to climb the ladder,
Boy pie might be better than bird pie.
grinning horribly.
More meat and not so tiny little bones.
The boys were terrified.
He's going to boil us.
Cried one of them.
He's gonna stew us alive.
Cried the
He's
second
gonna
one.
cook us with carrots.
Cried the third.
He's gonna spread our fingers.
Cried the fifth. Cool. The fourth. But the 5th little boy, who had more sense than the others, whispered.
Listen, just an idea. We'll only start by our seats to his pants. So quickly, unbutton your pants and fall to the ground.
Mr. Twit had reached the top of the ladder and was just about to make a grab for the nearest boy when they all suddenly tumbled out of the tree and ran for home with their naked bottoms winking at the sun. Muggle and his family longed to escape from the cage in Mr. and Mrs. Twit's garden and go back to the African jungle where they came from. They hated Mr. and Mrs. Twit for making their lives so miserable. They also hated them for what they did to the birds every Tuesday and Wednesday.
Fly away, birds.
They used to shout, jumping about in the cage and waving their arms.
Don't sit on that big dead tree. It's just been smeared all over with sticky glue. Go sit somewhere else.
But these were English birds, and they couldn't understand the African language the monkeys spoke. So they took no notice and went on using the big dead tree and getting caught for Mr. Twit's bird pie. Then one day, a truly magnificent bird flew down out of the sky and landed on the monkey cage.
Good heavens, it's the roly-poly bird. What on earth are you doing here in England, roly-poly bird?
Like the monkeys, the roly-poly bird came from the African jungle and he spoke the same language as they did.
I've come for a holiday. I like to travel.
He fluffed his marvelous coloured feathers and looked down rather grandly at the monkeys.
For most people, flying away on holidays is very expensive, but I can fly anywhere in the world for nothing. Do you know how to talk to these English birds? Of course I do. It's not good going to a country and not knowing the language. Then we must hurry. Today is Tuesday and over there you can already see the rocking Mr. Twit up the ladder painting sticky glue all over the big dead tree. When the birds come to roost, you must warn them not to perch on that tree or they'll be made into hot bird pie.
That evening, the roly-poly bird flew around the big dead tree singing out,
There's sticky stuff all over the tree. If you land in the branches, you'll never get free. So fly away, stay up high, or tomorrow you'll finish up in hot bird pie.
As soon as Mr. Mrs. Twit had disappeared down the road. The monkeys all flew back onto their feet the right way up.
Quick, get the key. What key? The key goes to our cave. Hanging on the nail on the workshop. That's where Len puts it.
The roly-poly bird flew down and came back with the key in his beak. Mangawump reached a hand through the bars of the cave and took the key. He put it in the lock and turned it. The door opened. All four monkeys leaped out together.
We're free. Where should we go now? Where should we hide? Calm down, everybody. Before we escape from this beastly place, we have one very important thing to do. What? We are going to turn those terrible Twits upside down. We're going to what? We must be joking, Dad. I'm not joking. We're going to turn those terrible Twits upside down with their legs in the air. Don't be ridiculous. How can we possibly turn those two mega-tail monsters upside down? We can. We are going to make them stand on their heads for hours and hours, perhaps forever. Let them see what it feels like for a change. How? Just tell me how.
Mangawump laid his head on one side and a tiny twinkly little smile touched the sides of his mouth.
Now and again, but not very often, I have a brilliant idea. Follow me, my friends, follow me.
He scampered off towards the house, and the three other monkeys and the roly-poly bird went after him.
Buckets and paintbrushes, that's what we want next. They are sitting in the workshed. Hurry, everybody.
Inside Mr. Twit's workshed, there was an enormous barrel of hug-tight sticky glue, the stuff he used for catching birds.
Hurry, your buckets. We are now going into the big house.
Mrs. Twit had hidden the key to the front door under the mat, and Mangawump had seen her doing it, so it was easy for them to get in. The roly-poly bird went. All four monkeys with their buckets of sticky glue. Then came the roly-poly bird flying after them with a bucket in his beak, a brush in his claw.
What happened? What's happened?
They stood in the middle of the room, looking at all the furniture. The big table, the chairs, the sofa, the lamps, the little side table, the cabinets with bottles of beers in it, the ornaments, the electric fire, the cabinet. Everything was upside down to the ceiling. The pictures were upside down on the walls, and the floor they were standing was absolutely big. What's more, had been painted white to look like the ceiling.
Look, that's the floor. The floor's up there. This is the ceiling. We're standing on the ceiling. We're upside down. We must be upside down. We are standing on the ceiling, looking down at the floor. Oh, help! Help, help, help! I'm beginning to feel giddy. So am I. Don't like this one little bit. We're upside down. All the blood's going in my head. If we don't do something quickly, I shall die. I know I will. I've got it. I know what we'll do. We'll stand on our heads. Then anyway, we'll be the right way up.
So they stood on their heads, and of course the moments of the tops of their heads touched the floor. The exploration rushed on. A few minutes before it stood straight, they were stuck. They were pinned down, cemented to fix the floor was the round crack in the door. The monkeys watched, and all the other monkeys stepped right out of their cage. And of course, the moment the Twits had gone,